The Age of Aquarius. Take one. And 3, 2, 1. Born to Be Wild starts in 1971. In pop culture, the Age of Aquarius. The Psychedelic Era. So let's backtrack a little and go through the preceding decades that shaped our characters. 1950s, decade of I Like Ike. Dwight David Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States, served in that capacity from 1953 to 1961. It was a period of soda fountains, milkshakes, drive-in movies, Elvis Presley, and domestic tranquility. Kids grew up watching I Love Lucy, Ozzie and Harriet, and Leave It to Beaver. At sock hops, teenagers jitterbugged to 45 RPM records and later made out in parked cars. Then came the 1960s. Lee Harvey Oswald assassinated JFK in Dallas. That single event precipitated a flow of innuendo, theory, and speculation that would continue to this day and beyond. Jack Ruby shot Oswald in a Dallas police station and hatched the conspiracy theory. LBJ inherited the Oval Office, created the Warren Commission, and introduced Arlen Specter and his magic bullet theory. The Zapruder film made you scratch your head, and the grassy knoll became legendary. By the way, Woody Harrelson's father was one of the men on the grassy knoll that day, later convicted of murder and died in prison. Spurred on by Martin Luther King, integrationists marched throughout the South, sat in at lunch counters, went to the bathroom in restrooms marked white only, and Rosa Parks resisted bus segregation by riding in the front seat. Afros sprouted, riots flared, and inner cities burned from Los Angeles to Chicago to Detroit to Philadelphia to Newark, New Jersey. The Beatles invaded the U.S. and, in the words of John Lennon, became more popular than Jesus. Through their lyrics, Lennon and McCartney shared their newly gained philosophies about mind expansion with their worshipping masses. Not coincidentally, drug use and abuse soared throughout the country during the Beatles' rise in popularity. Flower children bloomed, hippies flashed peace signs and donned love beads, and teenagers were running away from home in droves to join hippie communes. A generation of teenagers started smoking pot, copping lewds, popping speed, dropping acid, shooting dope, puffing glue, and doing their own thing with banana peels and mushrooms. Peaceniks burned draft cards. Draft dodgers crossed the Canadian border to avoid the military. And National Guardsmen gunned down protesting college students at Kent State. Meanwhile, halfway around the world, brave American soldiers were serving their country in Vietnam, and medics kept shipping some of those soldiers home in body bags. Broadway Joe Name was signed with the New York Jets for the unheard-of sum of $400,000. And I was fortunate to live in New York City at that time, and Joe Namath led the Jets to the Super Bowl win in 1968. On Broadway, actors and actresses stripped off their costumes, paraded around the stage totally nude, in productions of Hair. By the way, that's Beverly D'Angelis. And Oh Calcutta, again, I lived in New York City at the time. I saw Hair on Broadway. Prior to the show and during admission, the actors, male and female, walked around leaving it all hang out. But I was never interested in Oh Calcutta. At public demonstrations, liberated women burned their bras. From those lace and whalebone ashes sprung the sexual revolution. By coupling those liberated women with the development of birth control pills, there came a wild spree of free sex, daisy chains, wife swapping, and sport fucking. Into this arena, some of our fighting men started returning home from Vietnam, many bringing back exotic strains of gonorrhea. And despite 5 million milliliter doses of penicillin, penises kept dripping, and a VD epidemic spread among the heterosexual population. At the same time, gays were coming out of closets from Greenwich Village to San Francisco, and syphilis was running rampant in the homosexual communities. Monogamous relationships bottomed out, divorce skyrocketed, religion lost its appeal, and the American family started to disintegrate. Sirhan shot Bobby Kennedy near the rear exit of the Ambassador Hotel in L.A. and James Earl Ray sniped Martin Luther King on the balcony of the Lorraine Hotel in Memphis. Actually, it's Lorraine Motel. Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. Woodstock happened. J.P. Putnam's Sons published The Godfather by Mario Puzo. And outlaw motorcycle gangs began forming throughout all parts of the country. We've got some pagans action in Born to Be Wild to go along with a large helping of warlocks. As the 1970s began, an epidemic of criminal activity directly and indirectly escalated as the gangs became more and more organized, more and more popular, more and more powerful, more and more evil. This cavalcade throughout the decades brings us right back to December 12, 1971, when Bobby Noss was having sex with his girlfriend in the wee hours of the morning. So, for now, Barry Bowe, America's best crime writer and the author of Born to Be Wild, signing off. Thanks for stopping in. Until next time, see you. And that's a wrap.